Doing a broadcast production with ZFP Broadcaster is fairly simple. First thing you have to do related to creating a broadcast is to configure the system properly for your time zone, your corporate identification logo, if any, and any associated settings that you want to have to mark your particular videos in the broadcasting arena. First, you have to decide for any broadcast whether or not you plan to do a live or an on-demand. For a live broadcast, you have the configurations related to your video capture and your audio related capture, which include the aspect ratio that you're capturing at, in other words 320 by 240, 640 by 480, and so forth, as well as any associated audio settings and so forth, and fairly self-evident and covered in detail in the other videos related to that. For configuration for the on-demand, you have the option for transcoding or encoding the video that's to be submitted to the application bin for the on-demand section of videos. Once you've decided if you're going to do an on-demand, you have to identify the content that you want to either add to the system or that you have available. If you're adding and uploading content, you have the option of encoding it for the different data rates that you want to deploy it at. For example, some users may have a DSL, low bandwidth, 256K, where others may not be constrained at all in terms of their available bandwidth. You need to take this into account by deploying videos which are cover the gamut of the typical end user's available bandwidth. The system makes it easy for the proper bandwidth to become available for the user and has adaptive dynamic bandwidth switching to allow the video for the particular user to be automatically selected and delivered to that user. But you do have to identify the available bandwidth you'd like it transcoded at with the encoder settings for the on-demand. If you're doing a live broadcast, it's pretty much as simple as after you've configured it, just start doing the recording of the live broadcast as covered in other videos on this product. Once you've done the live broadcast, viewers can instantly be watching it, as well as taking advantage of other features such as chat and interactivity related to drawing and other features, including additional modules that we have available for other types of interactivity, from e-learning to corporate communications and so forth. If you're doing a live broadcast, it provides you with the option of whether or not you want to record that live broadcast for later reuse as effectively on-demand content. In other words, once a live broadcast is completed, you have the option of repurposing it for an on-demand usage like any other content that you've submitted to the system. Once you've provided the available content to the system, you need to set up an on-demand playlist, which is simply a sequence of content, whether audio and or video and or graphics, that you want to play in a particular order. In addition, once the playlists are defined, you can simply create a scheduled time block, effectively like a TV guide, where it just identifies the particular things that are playing on a particular channel at a particular time, and if there's any recurring playback to that. In other words, maybe on every Wednesday at 8:00 p.m. you'd like a particular what was once a live broadcast to go back out over the network as an on-demand broadcast at that time. Finally, once all that's been done, just like you've done with the live broadcast, the on-demand can be watched. And there's simply two modes of viewing of pre-recorded content. One is a scheduled on-demand viewing, which effectively is at a particular time like a TV guide. The other is an ad hoc, which is if you add the content to the on-demand area, users can go in, if you provided them with that access option, and watch what they want of the on-demand whenever they want it. And it's basically as simple as that. As far as the overall network, when you deploy a particular as far as the overall network, it's fairly simple to use. As far as the overall network, what you need to know is that there are two components to every deployment. One is the administrative console, which is used to submit content for the system, as well as to define and to configure the on-demand, live, and company-related settings. The second is what viewers see, which is configurable by the administrative console in terms of what options, whether on-demand, scheduled views of various channels, and chat functionality, whether or not they're enabled. They are enabled or disabled through the administrative console and then delivered to the end user in the form of this viewer's channel component. This viewer's channel component is very flexible in how it can be accessed. You can either send via email or other methods a link to any end users and viewers that you'd like to participate in a live or on-demand channel, or it can be embedded within a website. Finally, it can also subscribe to RSS syndication feeds, which effectively is a TV guide delivery method of sorts for a set of media and related content that are to be made available to the end users through this viewer channel component. The overall network, just as you can with your company have multiple channels, call them channel 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever you'd like, affiliates underneath you, which you can only add, can have their own sets of channels that you allow them to have or not based on the configurations that you set. The affiliates, the difference between them and your master account is that you can allow for and create affiliates, which is sort of analogous to if you had a corporate television network like XBC or whatever the name might be, that they have local and regional affiliates. This is analogous to that type of a system where you as the broadcaster or cable channel define who you would like as your affiliates and then allow them to have channels of their own. One additional difference is they can only have access to their specific channels, while you effectively have access across all of your affiliates and all of their channels, and effectively, whether it's you or the affiliates, they all are delivered out to the viewers by the same viewer channel component that we discussed before. So, as far as the overall network, the master, i.e. you, and your local channels that you may have directly underneath you are configured and delivered and selectable as far as the different channels via a unique component that only you as the master broadcaster have access to, which is in the form of a green menu bar in the upper left that allows you to go between the different channels that you've set up under your settings area within the component. And obviously any associated channels that are to show up are always available through the same component, which is consistent across all affiliates and you as a master user. So as a master broadcast network, each one of the affiliates are given their own administrative console, which the difference between yours again is whether they have just their own channel or channels, while you have the rolled up combination of all of your affiliates' channels that you can control, oversee, and rebroadcast from. The affiliates have the ability also to add additional channels if you've so enabled it across however many affiliates you want to add to the system. The master broadcast network has the additional advantage of being able to configure whether or not particular channels are either private. As you notice, channel 2 is not actually showing up here, just what we call ZFP channel 1 and demo BC1. Channel 2 is made private by you, which you can allow your affiliates to have private channels if they want, such as for internal corporate use or other similar purposes. But regardless of whether they're private or public, you as the master have the ability to track the usage and all rights related to the channels. So, going out over the affiliates versus the master network, simply stated, the master has the ability to add any number of affiliates and any number of direct channels under them, and the affiliates then are able to broadcast and control what kind of content goes out on their network, with also the ability of the master to be able to submit what is called shared content, which then goes out in the form of available media to all of the affiliates underneath you.